I stand here at the crossroads, the moon high in the night sky. I stand in my three forms as maiden, mother, and crone, guiding the way with my hound. Are you ready to accept what is right now, or do you want to walk firmly in the direction of possibilities? Take a moment to breathe, to focus on your attention, and let us guide you and surrender with action taken. Hi, welcome to HeKate's Crossing. Okay, I've been diving into the Mythic Tarot, been exploring the major arcana sort of to start with. So I sort of had a look at a few of the major arcana. So even though I've looked at them, I haven't really explored them fully. I've just started with the Fool, the Magician, and the Empress. I haven't looked at the Emperor yet, the High Priestess yet, because of the way that this book is actually set out. The book is set out that we have the Fool, the Magician, then we have the Empress and the Emperor, then we have the High Priestess with the Hierophant, and then the Lovers. So it's quite interesting to really take a peek, have a look at the major arcana. Let me just pull these out because I just want to show you something that I sort of found when I was sort of looking through the cards. And they're quite interesting, really, when you start exploring. So there's the Fool. Okay. And then I want to then look at the, just want to pull out the Magician. There's the High Priestess, let's pull these out. I know I haven't really gone through them on my blog yet. I haven't really dived deep into the cards as yet. Just started to explore a little bit, have a little bit of a look-see here, and see who the cards are portraying. So we've got Dionysus here as the, Dionysus as the Fool. Sorry, I thought that's what I was looking at the Fool. And then we have Hermes as the Magician. Okay. And we've got Demeter as the Empress. Which is interesting. Okay, so that's as far as I really got exploring the meanings of the cards from the book. So I've had a look, and I'll leave that link down below with my blog so you can see what I've written. What I like about these cards is they actually give you quite a bit in the description and what the card symbols in the actual card. Just 2 or 3 symbols, 3 symbols here. A little bit. I mean, it does give you a little bit more with the descript, with all this reading here, which I wouldn't want to type out, and I'm not going to read to you or anything like that. You really got to dive deep into the book yourself. It is something that you've either got to go through and look at visually, or whether you read, or if you want to sort of read a little bit about what it is. So let's look at the Fool just a little bit here. I'm just going to do the in the level. Dionysus the Fool is an image of a mysterious impulse within us to leap into the unknown. The conservative, cautious, realistic side of us watches with horror this wild, youthful spirit who, trusting in heaven, is prepared to walk over the cliff's edge without a moment's hesitation. The madness of Dionysus seems mad only to the part of us which is bound to the world of form, facts, and logical order. But in a more profound sense, it is not madness, for it is the impulse towards change which comes upon us out of the blue. which has no rational basis and no pre-planned program of action. The god is portrayed in animal skins because, in a way, this intuitive, irrational dimension to the human personality is a kind of sixth sense, an animal instinct that hears a music to which jaded ears used to concrete reality and not attuned. Dionysus is the son of the king of gods, and is his father's spirit to which he is so in tune, although he is ordained to live on earth with mortals. But it is difficult to know when this impulse strikes us, whether it has come from Zeus's heavenly abode or a darker, more underworld place. So quite interesting when you really start diving deep into this deck. The guidebook is amazing. There's lots and lots of information, and it really sort of gives you that card to meditate on. That's why it's taking me quite a while to sort of dive into it. Look, I can read the tarot, not a problem, but I really wanted to dive into the legends, the stories, the Greek mythology of it all. It's just wonderful to sort of dive into. And then you've got the magician. The card of the magician portrays a wiry, slender young man with a curling black hair who stands facing us at a crossroads. He is dressed for the road in a short white tunic and a deep red travelling cloak. With his left hand he points upwards towards heaven. With the right he gestures at a flat rock which lies before him in the centre of the convergence of roads. On the rock 4 objects are assembled: a chalice, a sword, a flaming wand or catechus, entwined by 2 snakes, and a pentacle. Behind him can be seen a barren landscape of brown and grey rocks, a continuation of the landscape that we met in the card of the Fool. 2 branches of the road vanish us in the rocky distance. You can see the continuation, which is interesting, which I absolutely love. Okay, so we've looked at, now the next card here is the Empress. Okay, so we've got the Empress here. So the card of the Empress portrays a beautiful earthy woman with rich flowering brown hair, obviously pregnant and standing in a field of ripening barley. Her gown is woven of many different plants and hemmed with the leafy boughs. Around her neck is a necklace with 12 precious stones. She is crowned with a diadem of castles and towers. Behind her, in the background of fertile fields, water flows into the pool. So really interesting. It actually turns out to be the waterfall suggests the flow of feeling and fertility of Demeter's world. She presides over the rites of marriage and blesses the fruits of its union. So you can sort of start to see the waterfall here, right? Okay, so I want you to just take a minute to have a look at that card. Now, let us start. Next card I've got to look at is the High Priestess. I want to have a look at the High Priestess in this reason, instead of the Emperor, which we would normally do. But I just want to look at the High Priestess for a second, because I want to show you the connection of these cards. So you've got the Empress here, the High Priestess here, right? The Empress and the High Priestess. So have a look behind the High Priestess as she walks down the stairs, right? So we've got the card of the High Priestess portrays a slender, ethereal young woman with pale skin, long black hair and dark eyes, dressed in a simple white gown. On her head is a golden crown. In her right hand she holds a pomegranate, split open to show its multitude of seeds. In her left hand a bunch of white narcissi trail to the ground. On either hand of the stairway on which she stands is a pillar. The left one is black and the right one is white. Behind her, at the top of the staircase, a doorway opens out onto a rich green landscape, which appears in the card of the Empress. Now, isn't that interesting? That's actually Persephone. Persephone. I'm terrible at these names sometimes. I just go totally blank. Persephone with Demeter, okay, with Hermes, with Dionysus. So you start to see a bit of a pattern coming in. Okay, so let's just want to sort of share that with you. So we want to go back to the Emperor. We've sort of skipped a stage here. So let's have a look at the Emperor here. So go back a little bit here. So the Emperor. The card of the Emperor portrays a mature man with broad and muscular shoulders and chest. His rich, flowing hair and beard are vivid auburn, and his eyes are out on a clear sky blue. He faces us seated on a golden throne at the top of a mountain. His robe is purple, bordered with gold, and on his head is a golden crown. In his right hand he holds 3 lightning bolts, in his left hand rests the globe of the world. An eagle perches on his shoulder, and behind him stretches a backdrop of stone-capped peaks. So this is the lightning bolt of Zeus, as a symbol of power. Not only because of its awesome grandeur, but also because it lights up the sky. Zeus is a god of inspiration and sudden creative vision, and the lightning symbolizes his revelation of the truth. So interesting when you sort of start diving into the symbology within the cards. So using the guidebook is really important to get an artist's perspective, looking at the symbols and things like that. I know sometimes when you're just learning tarot and you just want to learn the keywords, the books can be a little complicated to begin with. But once you've got a basic understanding of the tarot and you want to go back and do further study, this is really cool. The eagle is Zeus's emblem because of its keen sight and power to fly higher than other birds. As a bird of prey, it also expresses the aggression and conquering instinct of the god. Okay. Zeus made his abode the mountain peaks because he is a god of mental and spiritual heights, and his will rises above the bondage of the body and the limitations of nature. So it goes on. You look at a little bit of the story on an inner level, and then you've got on a divinatory level. So it gives you quite a bit in these books. So I'm not going to continue with these cards. I just wanted to sort of show you where I'm at to what I'm doing. Now, I did sort of pull all the cards together and pull out the 5 of Swords, which I've included in my blog, which I don't want to do there. Where is the 5 of Swords? Here, which I did on my blog. So I've written up my thoughts in what this card could mean for me, and then I wrote up a little bit about what it says in the book. I didn't write everything up, of course. I just wrote a few little bits and pieces about what this card is on another layer, another perspective, about its limitations, about owning your own limitations, which is interesting here. Because for me, I feel very much about when it talks about owning your own limitations, your own capabilities, it is about acknowledging that, but then being able to stretch those abilities and capabilities, not beyond your know-how, of course. Be realistic. It's about learning and gathering knowledge, but also I feel the sense of not being bullied into believing, not being belittled into believing that their way is the only way. Because here you've got Asteris here. I think that's how you say it. Let me go back to the 5 of Swords here. Let me just Arestus, not, I think it's called Arestus, not, yeah, Arestus. Sorry, not Arestus. So the card of the 5 of Swords portrays Arestus seated on the ground facing the god Apollo, who has appeared to tell him of his fate and his obligation to avenge his father's death. Apollo stands on the right and points sternly at the 5 of Swords, which he holds in his right hand. In the distance, dark clouds can be seen hovering over the mountain peaks. So it talks about a sense of your obligation to life, to be the sense of being told to own your own limitations, your own capabilities. For me, in a sense of acceptance, for me, I feel like there's a defeated feeling in this card. It's like this acceptance of what is, but I think feeling a lot that you can actually overcome those challenges and those limitations in many ways. So there's a lot of thought to that. Anyway, I wrote my thoughts and my opinions on my blog, which I'll leave down below, of course. But yeah, this is where I'm at the moment. Just diving deep into the new Mythic Tarot. It's a beautiful deck. I definitely feel Juliet Sharman-Burke and Liz Green, and then with cards illustrated by Giovanni Caselli. I definitely feel the guidebook is beautiful. It's definitely not a beginner's guide to tarot. It definitely is a sort of, maybe you've studied a little bit of tarot and now you want to explore something a little bit further. You want to sort of dive deep into the Greek mythology, the Greek stories, the deities. This is a great way to do that. Now, I have decided that I am working with the Mythic Oracle as well. Just want to grab here. Now, you know that I'm also working with the Greek Oracle here. Now, this is by Carissa Milado and artwork by Michelle Lee Fillon, Wisdom of the Ancient Greek Pantheon. So I want to sort of include, again, with the deities on a little sort of a deeper level, sort of dive into them a little bit more with that there. And then with what's not in here, maybe is in here as well. So the Greek reading cards. So those are the 3 decks that I sort of want to sort of explore for the month of, even though I've sort of started sort of the end of May, it's really going to be my June study. Even though I sort of started this sort of in May, I really want to sort of continue this through June, diving. This is going to take some time, I think. You think if it's got 78 cards, I'm taking my time doing a card, you know, every few days. It's not even every day. It's sort of, you know, it's taking my time. It's sort of exploring the cards on many levels. I want to sort of start using the Mythic Oracle and the Greek mythology reading cards as well. So I'm looking forward to sort of diving into them in a bigger way. So yeah, I love these cards. I love the imagery. I love the book, the guidebook. Again, using the guidebook is really, really important here. It's going to give you a little bit more information, not for definition, but definitely for research here. The Greek reading mythology cards, I think, is more about the mythology of the deities, more so than the divination aspect of it. I really sort of want to dive into that. So that's me for the moment. So that's where I'm at, diving deeper. So I will keep you abreast of my study progress and how I feel about it all as I move through this process. But at the moment, I'm really loving it. Just sort of started the first few cards, of course, and just sort of exploring the minor arcana, sort of a card, you know, just doing a card at this stage. Things will change over time. But yeah, I love it. Absolutely loving this Greek mythology. Working with HeKate has been a beautiful journey for me of development and growth and moving through my divination in many levels. Okay, so that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.